Number one seed, ain't nobody popping up. Got a squad of gorillas from the...
I'm the coach. You're locked into the NFL on EA Sports. We are just moments away from what should be an excellent matchup between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Houston Texans. With that, let's head over to the space city of Houston. Standing by at NRG Stadium, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Okay, Coach, on a wonderful fall afternoon in the state of Texas, the roof is open, and we've got football from NRG Stadium in Houston. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between our visitors and the Houston Texans. Hi again, everyone. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, we look at this Texan ball club entering play here. They come in with some fresh legs as they got the week off last week thanks to the early season bye.
And usually you hope your bye comes a little bit later in the year. But when you get a chance to get fresh legs back, you take that time and you run with it.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Chargers, they come into this one knowing it's been a while since tasting victory. They've dropped 4 in a row.
Can they remember what it was like to win a game? In these types of situations, you're looking for someone to inspire you, and it doesn't have to be one of your best players either.
Getting toward the halfway point of the NFL season, Week 7 is underway on EA Sports. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. So here's the Charger offense making their way out. They will be led out by the Heisman Trophy winner from 2018, drafted number 1 overall the subsequent year, Kyler Murray.
And I'll bet right now it's just one thought in his mind.
Win the game, yeah.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. He played pretty well. I mean, he didn't turn over the ball in terms of interceptions,
no,
right?
2 touchdown passes last week.
2 touchdown passes, but when your team doesn't win, that's just hollow. And the best quarterbacks don't care about anything but whether or not their team won.
Nyheim Hines, his first carry. And he'll get this from the 25 to the 30 for a pickup of 5. And this O-line, it is the lifeblood of the offense.
They establish the tone. Mean, nasty, physical. They can't wait to get after people. That allows the rest of the offense to feel confident.
On second down, it's Hines. Room here to run. Accelerating, and off he goes. And he'll be down deep into Houston territory. And they will finally get him to the ground at the Texans' 18. They had trouble stopping the run last week in a loss, and here it rears its ugly head early.
You're supposed to try and get your confidence going after a loss like that where you gave up big yards running the football. This is not...
And he's going to go down. The Texans come at him and able to bring him to the ground. Different story this time around. We had that huge gain followed by a sizable loss here. Now following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a second down and 17. Not even a chance to pitch that one as he's swallowed up in the backfield. That's going to go down as a loss of 5, and it brings up 3rd down. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. Murray now to throw. Under pressure, and he will go down. Satch back at the 38. Charles, a little bit of feast or famine on this drive. They moved the ball okay, but they've been sacked twice now.
And they've got to figure out how to plug that leak a little bit, right? Keep them away from the quarterback because when he's not being hit, as you mentioned, they're moving the ball well.
On is the Chargers punter now. As the first drive of the game stalls out, he's on to punt. Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. So out come the Texans for their opening drive. And they will be led out by their 6'6" quarterback.
And what I enjoyed in preparing for this game was talking not just with the coaching staff, but with him as well. And I found it interesting that the coaching staff sees him one way and he sees himself an entirely different way.
Yeah, one thing he said he's always working on, we know he's not bad at this, but his footwork, always wants to improve that, and that's something he's going to focus on here.
And what was so funny, what the offensive coordinator say right off the top, he's got great footwork. Love his footwork. So this guy is never satisfied.
And he'll get this one way up just shy of the 45-yard line. Good yardage as he rumbles for 24 and a first. You know, I have a pretty good friend, Charles Davis, who tells me that when he sees plays like that, strong runs to the right, reminds him of the 1960s Green Bay Packers.
Boy, those were the days back when the fullback actually carried the ball as well as blocked. Then you had a halfback. You had pulling guards, guys who could get out and run. And you can hear the great coach saying it back then. So we get a seal here and a seal here, and we run this play right in the alley.
Credit the tackle there to Uchenna Nwosu. And let's look here at the Houston offense.
And they should come in pretty well rested because they had their open week last week. Ideally, all teams want to have that open week later in the year rather than this early. But you make do with what they give you. So you take the time off, rest up, heal up, and come in ready to play.
Go. Hey, Mike's 42.
Here's a 2nd and 7. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Beal. And he's brought to the ground with another first down at the Chargers' 36.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
They'll go with Hill here on first down. And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or two shy of the 10. 25 yards the pickup there, and also a first down. You were telling me this yesterday. This is exactly what they want to do on the opening drive, establish the ground game.
Yeah, remember our conversation? We were talking about where one of the GMs in the league has told me repeatedly, it's a big man's game. And it's not necessarily size. He's talking about playing some big boy.
And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. An 11-yard touchdown as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. The touchdown giving him the first quarter lead. Remember, they lost a rough game 2 weeks ago. Then they had to sit through the open week, but a good start here.
And just think about everyone around them, everyone around the organization. When you lose headed into that open week, everyone's cringing because you don't have a chance to get on the horse and ride it again for at least 2 weeks. Well, they were able to take that time, use it constructively, and now they're back in form.
And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. And now the Texans defense, they get ready here. And a big reason. The Charger drive about to get going. They punted last time they had it. What steps, Charles, you think they have to take to make sure they don't do that again?
Well, let's just go to the foot.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Montez Sweat. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
After the sack on first down, Murray. Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more.
So, Brandon, we've sat in with a lot of coaches, and when they talk about things they want to accomplish offensively, I'm not sure that sack and sack are on their play sheet.
Murray with a 3rd and long. And that is incomplete. On is the Chargers punter now, as he'll kick it away for the second time. And he'll take it on this side of midfield. It's a 40-yard punt, 4 yards on the return. And the Texans with great field position to start this drive as they take over 1st and 10. 2 seconds to go, first quarter.
Stand. It's going to be a long day. Hey, switch gears. Undercut.
And he's going to be brought down on what will be the final play of this first quarter. After 1, 7-0 on EA Sports.
Oh, yeah. Ready. 60 outlaw. Hey, team 6.
Second and 1. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's third down.
That's very well timed there defensively because it's not a bad throw, but the collision came at the exact time he was reaching to bring in the football. Really, really well done.
Decent offense, just better defense. I think you're right.
Wide. Get wide. Kill.
They'll try and run for it with Hill. And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. They end up getting stuffed twice after that 9-yard gain back on first down.
Part of the thinking when you bring in extra tight ends, you're hoping that each of your guys gets those one-on-one blocks and creates a crease for your runner. You know what the converse is, though? You've got to win those one-on-one blocks, and when you don't, that's the result you end up with.
Watch out. Joker. 25. Big grip.
Here we go with Hill. And he gets it to the 32. Good enough for a first down. Give them credit. They knew what they wanted to dial up on fourth. They executed it for 9 yards, and the offense stays out there. Good spot on the field to go for it. Kind of no man's land, as they call it, and it worked out.
Yeah, they call it no man's land because your punter's telling you it's too short. I'm just going to punt it into the end zone. Your field goal kicker might give you a little raised eyebrow. Might be too far for the field goal, so it gives you a great chance to go for it. Personally, if you have those tendencies to be aggressive as a head coach, you kind of like this spot because it gives you the decision to go ahead and go for it when you want to anyway.
This is Hill. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
2nd and 2. Looking left side of, he's got a man. That's Beal. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. He had the touchdown on the opening drive. Now he's got a first down.
And another thing that makes the comeback route really effective is that oftentimes after you've made the initial move, receivers breaking away from the defensive back, and that makes it a really tough play to defend. A nice chunk of yardage picked up there.
Looking to throw toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Get your backs to the goal line. I can hear my high school coach right now. This is when force meets force. Got to be physical in order to win this battle.
Yeah, that's where the physicality pays off. A nice job forcing the contact and forcing the incompletion.
Yeah, Coach Ford would have loved that play.
And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. A great play there. His third touchdown now on the year. And the Texans push further out in front. And they're able to run it in. It started with a battle in the trenches. They won there, and they got in for 6 points.
And that's going to be a tough one for the defense to deal with. They've got to go to the bench now and figure out how we're going to slow down this running game, because on that particular play, they had no answer.
Extra point right down the middle, and it's now 14-0. So that drive goes 8 plays and a 9-yard run on the end of it. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This fielded at the 2. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. And now out on the field, here comes Los Angeles. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. Now on on 2nd and 13. Murray. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. A good gain of 9 before he's brought down at the 28. They'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for 3rd down. Here's Murray, and that will be incomplete.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
On is the Chargers punter now, as he's on to kick it away. And he uncorks a beauty. Best of the day. That's fielded at the 8-yard line. Shrugs him off. It's a nifty return of 29 yards. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. It's been a good first half so far. They're up 14-0. Points here, they could really put them in command before intermission.
Yeah, and it's all well and good what they're seeing and how they're feeling right now. But this is the NFL. How many times have we watched 14-0 leads evaporate and quickly? So how have we seen them combat it? Continue to run your offense, but don't back off at all. Don't start looking at the clock. Don't start thinking about, hey, just take care of the football. Keep attacking. Usually the best way to maintain control.
It's a 6-yard pickup, but it gets him to 2nd and 4. 2 minutes to play, first half. It's 14-0. And we remind you, coming up at the half, we'll join, who, Charles?
The coach.
The coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from games in progress, as well as scores from earlier today.
The coach.
Sorry, we get slap happy up here sometimes. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. A 1st down there on a pickup of 25.
Yeah, another good run there. He's been such a big part of their success here this afternoon. And that last carry, it puts him over 100 yards now for the day.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
No, check that. We want Mike 52 right here. Who that?
Back to throw here. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down.
It's a lot of contact going on there, and in the end, unable to keep 2 hands on the football and bring it into his body.
Everything looked pretty good until the finish. Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he'll go down at the 28.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. Way too tight. Unable to find anyone open.
And his kick is good. And the lead will grow. It's now 17-0. Maybe a little fortunate there. That was leaking a little, maybe leaking a lot, but he got it.
Yeah, he actually was able to make it work. How about the body language, though, right? As he watched that ball leak to the right, trying to bring it back in, and had just enough to get it done.
This fielded at the 2. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Now the Chargers offensive unit ready to see what they can do here. The results for them so far not that great. Well, not good at all. 3 drives, 3 punts.
Yeah, and now what you're doing is you're looking at your play sheet. You're trying to figure out what you're going against defensively. I wonder, are they
nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The Chargers going to signal for the first of their timeouts, as it'll come with 36 ticks to go in half number 1. They come up on 2nd and long, and the pass protection just has not been there this afternoon. To throw is Murray. Over the middle, complete. It's Sparks. Now the Chargers will use the second of their timeouts as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this first half. And the Texans have an extra defender in the secondary now on 3rd down. 3rd and 2, and here's Murray. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Montez Sweat getting him once again his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
I'm starting to wonder if this offensive line just simply doesn't like him. I mean, they've given up 6 sacks in this game. He's had nowhere to go, nowhere to run, and obviously nowhere to hide.
And all those sacks in the first half, this is just complete domination. On is the Chargers punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. They'll look to set up his blockers. We have hit halftime. Still 2 more quarters to go. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back after this. You're watching the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. It's in the game.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. A lot to get to here as some of the division races starting to take shape as we look around the NFL here in week number 7. We'll start our tour out in the City of Angels, Los Angeles. And at halftime, it's the Bills who are out on top. Josh Allen has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Next, we'll stay in the NFC West as we head up to Northern California to check on the Niners at home in Santa Clara. And they've got the lead in that one over the visiting Atlanta Falcons. Patrick Mahomes has thrown a touchdown pass there. Lastly, let's check in at our nation's capital, see what's happening with the Redskins at home at FedEx Field. And they were winners in that one as they take care of the visiting Chicago Bears. Traquan Smith, a touchdown catch in the victory. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a back-and-forth first half. Who can put it together in the second half? For the answer, we turn it back over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
It's the Texans in front, and they're going to get the football first as we are back underway in the 3rd quarter. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out comes the Houston offense as they get set to take over here. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. A good run on first down. It's got him very close to the line to gain, just shy of the 35. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Now, that was an excellent run. And when you see that happen, that's when you're seeing guys doing their job and then some people doing a little bit more. Offensive linemen and tight ends, they're expected to block. But the wide receivers, all they want to do is catch passes. So when they block on a big-time running play and create extra space, you've kind of hit the jackpot there.
A pickup of 11 and a Texans first down.
And while we're seeing more and more of these plays come from the college game into the NFL, and that one, it was run with great success, how about the evolution of the offensive linemen? We're seeing less and less big guys who can't move and more guys who are a lot more mobile and can get out in front of that type of a play.
Switch it. Come on, switch it. Watch the safety creep. Check that.
Now a first down carry. It's Hill. Oh, a heck of a move.
Man.
And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. A great effort there. With his second touchdown of the game, 4th of the year. And the Texans push further out in front. He's turning in a heck of a game. He's creeping up towards 200 yards, a pair of touchdowns now to go along with it.
There's so many things we can talk about in his game because we're seeing it all from him, but I love his vision. He's seeing the holes develop. He's seeing holes develop before they actually open. He's making sure he's getting to the right places, very decisive in his cuts, but his vision has been the key to all these big runs in this game. And
on that last long run, we got a pretty good look at his speed as well. Point after, right down the middle. And the lead is now 24. So a 75-yard scoring drive on just 3 plays. And a pretty good run there in the end to top it off. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This fielded at the 2. Able to slither by. Breaks a tackle. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. Now we'll look at the Chargers offense. They get ready for their first possession of the second half. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Throwing again on second down. Murray. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Montez Sweat in there for sack number 127 in his great career, moving it past Kansas City Hall of Famer Derek Thomas on the all-time list. On play action, it's Murray. Under pressure again, and down he goes again.
I think we've seen this before. Someone's down 3 scores. That situation there, it's just going to add to their growing frustrations, don't you think?
Yeah, a bad number 3 right now. 3-score game, third quarter, 3 and out, not what they wanted. And you can tell on the sideline, those faces are getting a little bit longer as this one goes. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. This is taken at about the 14. Well, he wasn't too far from breaking that. Officially, give him 15. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs.
And logo. Ain't no such thing as a... Yo, go. Check. Switch. Look at me. Go off. Kill. Turn it up. Kill. Turn it up. Fire.
They start the drive on the ground with Hill. They're going to snuff this play out behind the line. We have not seen that much today. The loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down. The run defense, they have been porous at times today, but not that last go-around.
No, they really tightened it up, didn't they? They finally got themselves a win because all game long we've seen them get gashed. This time they played their responsibilities, played their keys, and made a nice stop. And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They've become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
60 or 42. Come on, baby. Come on, let's go. Get it.
He'll drop to throw. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything to warrant a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Call that a 46-yard punt, though they did get 9 back on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. Here comes the Chargers offense now back out onto the field. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair.
But if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they got to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Here's Murray as he sets to throw it. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Montez Sweat in there for sack number 127 in his great career, moving it past Kansas City Hall of Famer Derek Thomas on the all-time list. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. This is fielded inside the 5. A good return there. Call it 13 yards. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the third quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10.
Move. Out. 3 down. Ready.
Hill going to try the right side. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. Now, I think we can get used to seeing more of that in this fourth quarter, especially if they're having success on the ground like they did there.
Yeah, I think back when we met with the head coach in preseason, and all he talked about was building a bully. And I think it was this situation he was envisioning. Trying to ice a game, plenty of time left, but being able to give the ball to his big runner and pound away and try and finish off the game.
And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. 39 yards there, a big one.
This is one of those plays that has an equal chance of either being a big gain or a big loss, but with the college influence, we're seeing more of these plays come into the NFL.
So the big play means just like that, they'll operate from the red zone now on 1st down. They'll set up a throw. And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. From 17 yards out as his guys continue to pour it on.
And now we've hit that stage of the game, partner, where one of our predecessors, one of the great commentators of all time, he used to sing in this situation when this game appeared to be over.
I know the fat lady's been singing for some time.
No, not her at all. This is one of our guys.
She's singing too.
Oh, she's
on like the 5th tune.
Yeah, she left Scales way behind, but he used to sing something about turning out the lights. The party was over.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Los Angeles offense as they get set to take possession. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And okay, all right, I'm being facetious here, but you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. Give him 15 yards on that one and a Charger 1st down.
His position, and he's listed as a tight end, but he certainly doesn't run like one, and that's what we're seeing more and more coming into the league. Those guys who can run, make plays after the catch, and gain that additional yardage.
And using that speed there to turn it into a pretty nice little gain. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8. Throwing on 2nd and 8, Murray. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down. So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves him staring up here at a 3rd and 8. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Sparks. And he'll only get this to the 47. He needed a few more yards to pick up the 1st. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
And a great job here. This is going to turn out to be a beauty. This is marked down at about the 3-yard line. Now, if you're a fan of punting, this game's for you. He's been out there quite a bit. That one may be his best yet.
Yeah, he certainly got his leg loose by now. It kind of reminds me of my college football coach, John Majors. He loved the punting game because he liked the positioning, the field position, and he loved to play defense.
Alert flare, flare. Check your hot read. Check. Check three, check three.
They begin the drive with Hill. A little juke. A nice run there, 9 yards, and it'll be second down.
I know you're trying to wring every yard out of a run, but I think 9 yards there is ideal in this situation.
Yeah, now next couple plays, you'll only need 1 yard. Keep that clock rolling with a lead here in the fourth.
Yeah, what you're saying is maybe if it takes you 1 or 2 more runs to get the first down, that's extra time, extra plays. Really hurts the team on defense.
And he'll be brought down, it looks like, right at the 15. 2 yards, good enough for a first.
2nd and 1 is often an invitation to take the big shot downfield. I bet the offensive lineman said, are you kidding? We just get on our backs and let's go get the first down. They love being physical.
On first down, he'll drop to throw. Throw left side complete. It's Beal. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on second down. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. And once again, Hill, he's been busy. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. An extra defensive back on the field for the Chargers now on third down. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Texans football as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over.
Check, check, Lucky, Lucky, Lucky. Check, check, Fresno, Fresno. Check, check, check.
And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. 15 yards, the Texans pick up the first down.
Well, when we go back to our conversation with the defensive coordinator, that type of a play was not a surprise to him. He expected trickery in this game, yet somehow his defense, they still took the cheese and got caught in the mousetrap.
And a 5-yard gain gets him to the 42.
Partner, I think from our experience together, we have learned that most offensive coordinators are going to tell you, if I'm going to run the football on first down, I've got to get at least 4 yards. They got 5 here. They've got to feel pretty good about that one.
Check. Leo, Leo. Bang, 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 bang. Get it.
They stay on the ground. This time it's Hill. Call it a gain of 4 there, so it sets up a big play here. 3rd and a yard.
That's a really good job right there. Just kept stringing that play out, pushing further and further towards the sideline. Really good fundamentals by that defense.
He was trying to put his foot in the ground and turn upfield. He just couldn't.
No, they really had a picket fence in front of him. No room to find to get upfield.
Back to throw. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Beal. And he's brought to the ground with another first down at the Chargers' 42. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this.
Let's go now. 60 yards. Bravo. Watch the run. Watch the run. Mike 42. Mike 42. Ricky Rick, look at me. Zipper. Check. 42's the Mike. Ready, ready.
That one looks like he'll throw here. Eluding the pressure right. And he'll go out of bounds right around the 40. He'll get 3 yards on the scramble there at second down.
Okay, he's not going to get the first down, but this is still a nice job of buying some time and then running to get to the sideline and get out of bounds and avoid the big hit.
Now back to throw. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The former number 3 pick, Joey Bosa, bringing the lumber that time. And what are the whistles for? Timeout. So they'll stop the clock here in a game that's been decided in the closing seconds. And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game.
Hey. We got 3. We got 3. 3 down. 3 down.
They'll drop to throw. And the pressure gets to him again. Now we'll get whistles, and they've signaled for a timeout. Not sure I see the logic in this, but we'll get a stoppage anyway with 5 seconds remaining. And with things looking pretty good on the scoreboard, they're going to keep the offense out there and go for it here on 4th. He'll look to throw. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Beal. And unable to break away. They stop him a few yards shy. So Houston going to come away here with the victory. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense was they held the ball pretty well. You know, time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one. And that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time. So when you do that and you're out there fresh playing, up a little extra spring in your step, and it showed up in this one.
They had a ton of spring in their step. Impressive victory. So for Houston, they climb back to 500 now at 3 up and 3 down. And they will hit the road next week to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Meanwhile, for our visitors, things are definitely going south quickly as they fall now to 1-6. And they'll get an extra week to think about it as the midseason bye might be coming at just the right time. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew here at EA Sports, I'm Brandon Gaudin saying so long, everybody.